From the New Arts and Media Studios in Milwaukee, I'm Charles Bursell. This is The Log. I wanted to start with this just because, well, let's see, a couple things. You're probably watching, I don't know if you're watching the live feed. It's available for everyone to watch, and that, of course, the murder trial, the horrible murder of George Floyd last summer. Actually, late spring. May 25th was the date. So we'll have to mark that anniversary when it comes up. Anyway, of course, the murder trial of the cop who killed him and the three who helped. It's underway, and it's gripping, and it's horrible, and it's tough to watch, and it's, oh my gosh, I don't know how you watch it without tearing up often. The witnesses on the stand are certainly tearing up. It's a horrible thing to relive. I can't, just for a member of the public, I can't imagine the witnesses on the stand, the community there in the neighborhood, and especially can't imagine the family of George Floyd. Oh my God, the pain that they must be going through, reliving all this. It's really quite something to see. And, depending on your jurisdiction, some courtrooms allow cameras, some don't. This particular jurisdiction does allow cameras, so you can watch this thing gavel to gavel. You can watch it on Court TV. There are several streams. You just go online on Facebook. PBS NewsHour has a live stream of every minute of the trial. It's something to see. I'm not going to attempt to cover it here. There's nothing I can say that isn't being said better by other people. I'm just heartbroken about the whole thing, and I'm pissed off, of course, as any right-thinking American should be. But I bring it up mainly because I want to recommend a program you do want to listen to. I often brag about my own community radio station, River West Radio, right here in the River West neighborhood of Milwaukee. So jot this down, make a mental note, it's easy to remember. riverwestradio.com and riverwestradio.com/shows. And that'll take you to a list of shows on the station. And you want to scroll down just a little bit to the Black Panther Report. It's a fantastic program. It airs 6:30 p.m. every Tuesday night. It's repeated several times, but for our purposes, what you need to know, as soon as it airs, it becomes available at the website, and you can listen to it anytime you want. It becomes a podcast. So I'm going to highly recommend riverwestradio.com/shows. Go to the Black Panther Report, and you're going to want to listen. You're really going to want to listen. There was a show last night, Tuesday at 6:30 p.m., and that is now online waiting for you. And they're talking about this trial. Okay. Something else here I want to share with you. A Facebook friend by the name of Mason Schwab. I'm not sure he wanted me to mention his name. He's a humble guy. But he posted something today that I just really wanted to share with you. And it goes like this. Reminder, I will allow no racism, homophobia, ableism, transphobia, or sexism on my timeline. I see it, you're gone. Those are just things I will not allow in my presence. A vast majority of my friends consist of people in marginalized segments of the population, and I will always fight for their safety and comfort above all else. As many of you already know, I take matters of disrespect very seriously, and that extends to my friends and family. Don't believe me? Try me. Mason. And I just thought, you know what? That is just so beautifully succinct and direct and spot on. It reflects my feelings exactly. I second that emotion. I share the thought. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Any of that on my timeline? You're gone. Yeah, there's something to be said about the general sort of religious tenets of love your enemy and turn the other cheek and try to understand those with which you have differences. I understand all of that. But it's come to a point now where I think the world would be better off if we all practiced zero tolerance when it comes to racism, homophobia, ableism, transphobia, or sexism. I've been practicing that for a while. In fact, it's gotten to a point where it's kind of an involuntary response. It's reflexive now. About, I don't know, this is a year or two ago, back pre-COVID, when I was hosting trivia. I was hosting pub trivia. And some guy thought he was being funny, and he shared with me a racist joke. And I just lost it. I lost my temper instantly. It's become a reflex now for me. I'm just not having it. It's zero tolerance for me. So I gave him what for, and I raised my voice and told him exactly what I thought about him. I had a couple of incidents like that at pub trivia. You know, when you work out in the burbs, you're going to come across people like this. And I would not allow it in my presence. Happened a couple times with another guy. He was coming to sign up for the show. Again, hosting trivia, and kind of the way it works, the players come up and they sign their team in, and they grab their, pencils and answer pads or whatever needs to happen. And you sign them in. And he thought he was going to be funny. Gave me a little racist name for his team. I just wailed on the guy. Nope, that's it. You're done. You're not playing tonight. You're not playing with me. Go someplace else. Get out of here. I don't have anything to do with you. It's kind of a throwback to my early days. I think I mentioned the other day, I used to have a temper when I was a kid. I don't really have a temper anymore. I don't lose my temper, but that's the one exception. I just sort of along the way, at first it was more of a conscious decision that I wasn't going to put up with this anymore, but then it became a natural reflex. So I applaud Mason and this thought, and I thought it was worth sharing. And especially, I find this to be true for those of us who, and I've spoken about this many times, I inhabit all of the oppressive classes. I'm a male, I'm older, I'm white, I'm hetero, I'm cis, I'm able, I'm the opposite of all the oppressed categories. So whether I do or not, I feel I have a special sort of unique responsibility to be an ally. Now, I struggle with this like a lot of people do. To be a self-appointed ally is very murky territory and can be very tricky. And so I tread very lightly. I try to be very careful, make sure I'm doing it right. But I really feel like I'm on solid ground when I'm chewing out my own fellow older, white, cis, hetero, my people, so to speak. I feel like I can wail on them anytime I want if I find they're violating the basic rules of the road here. And the basic rules of the road right now are respect and love, and calling out the racists, the homophobes, the misogynists. Oh my God, the Asian hate that has exploded over the last couple of years, and the recent high-profile incidents, violent attacks. Yeah, I feel some responsibility to call out my own. We did a long couple of programs last summer about how it's our wrongdoing, it's our failing, our meaning white, male, hetero, cis, etc. We're the ones collectively committing the crimes of racism, homophobia, sexism, etc. We're the ones with the disease. We're the ones with the problem. And we're the ones who have to seek the cure and demand it of our fellow white male, cis, hetero, etc. So I feel strongly about that. In a related story here, I guess it is related. For whatever it's worth, my older white male, hetero, cis opinion about Lil Nas X and his recent song release and video and new release of a shoe. He's if you're a musical artist now, you have to have a shoe. All of that is very odd to me, but that's just the world. Well, I don't want to try to explain this story. To be perfectly honest, I saw the headlines for several days and never bothered to really read what was going on. I thought, okay, it's just another sort of odd entertainment story. I don't know. Is this important? But it kept going for several days. I kept seeing these headlines. I thought, well, all right, I better look into this a little bit. So Lil Nas X, of course, is a musical artist, and he's a rapper, and his new music video is called Montero, parentheses, Call Me By Your Name. And, it's got people upset. Because it's quite a beautiful, compelling, provocative video in which he rides a stripper pole down into hell and gives Satan a lap dance. And it's got religious folks just spinning. The governor of South Dakota tweeted Bible verses at him. Conservatives everywhere are just having a cow. The very same people, I might add, who complain about cancel culture, well, they're doing everything they can to cancel Lil Nas X. So all this hell imagery is quite dramatic and very effective. And the rapper himself is not backing down one little bit. In fact, let me read his recent tweet. Quote, I spent my entire teenage years hating myself because of the shit you all preached would happen to me because I was gay. So I hope you are mad. Stay mad. Feel the same anger you teach us to have towards ourselves. Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm a great admirer of artists who use their platform to speak truth to power, to be provocative, to be artists. Let me read from let's see, what am I looking at now? An opinion piece by Clay Kane, published on CNN. Here's what he had to say. This tweet speaks volumes for millions of queer folks, especially black queer people, who have suffered spiritual and theological violence at the hand of church doctrines. X's words are ones the late, great James Baldwin would admire and support. He once wrote, because I was born in a Christian culture, I never considered myself to be totally a free human being. Like Baldwin, Lil Nas X is insisting on being totally free. He is turning the devil's mirror on everyone who told him to hate himself. He is refusing to wallow in the love the sinner, hate the sin trope. And he is shedding light on the literal hell the people in his community have been put through. For many queer folks, especially youth, hell is right here on earth, in churches, schoolyards, and homes. I'm 100% in alignment here with commentator Clay Kane. Thank you for that. Yeah, Christians are the ones who invented heaven and hell. If artists want to use the motifs, the symbols, the stories that you invented and made so dominant in the culture, if they want to use those same icons to fight against the prejudice you've created, well, that's the right and, dare I say, the duty of an artist. And I thought this was done brilliantly. Now, the whole shoe angle is a little weird. This one I don't quite get. So, again, I guess if you're a big rapper, you have to have a shoe line now. So he and this company he works with, right along with the release of this video, well, this shoe, it's a knockoff of a Nike. So Nike Corporation is not very happy. They're threatening to sue. It's a Nike knockoff, and it's the so-called Satan shoe. I'm still on CNN here. Let me see what they say about it. Nike, in their complaint, asked the court to order MSCHF, I guess that's the company he's working with, the production studio, to permanently stop fulfilling orders for the unauthorized Lil Nas X Satan shoes, which apparently sold out within minutes of their release. MSCHF and its unauthorized Satan shoes are likely to cause confusion and create an erroneous association between their products and Nike, the sportswear company says in its complaint. Yeah, it's a modified black and red Nike Air Max 97 sneaker, adorned with a bronze pentagram charm and a drop of human blood in the midsole. Now, I checked this out at several sources to see what the hell they're talking about. Do they claim to honestly really have human blood? Nowhere in any of the articles I saw did they say this was just a joke. They all they all report it as though it's a literal true thing, that they claim to actually have a drop of human blood in every shoe. So the Satan shoe. Now I'm looking at a picture of it right now, and I'm pulling up the old Google machine here, because on the side of the shoe is printed Luke, Luke 10:18. So obviously a passage from the Bible, and according to my findings here, Luke 10:18, and he said to them, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. Or the King James Version, and he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. So variations of that. Jesus said, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. All right. So that's lettered there right on the side of the shoe, Luke 10:18, along with the Nike swoosh. See, now, there I don't get. I don't get it. If you're not authorized by Nike, how do you have the nerve, how do you have the chutzpah to put on the Nike swoosh? And then, yeah, there's the pentagram. So why not? I'm all for it. It's art, man. It's free speech. I don't care. I don't care if you're offended. I don't really care. And Lil Nas X makes a really excellent point. You tormented me for years, my entire childhood. You tormented me with your message. Who has more right to do a counter message? So I'm very much in X's corner, 100%. 100%. I'm an atheist. I was influenced in my atheism by a much a different styled musician, the soft folk pop stylings of James Taylor. You'd never confuse James Taylor with Lil Nas X. But when I was 12 years old, James Taylor released Sweet Baby James. And the title song of that album had a lyric. Let's see if I can remember how it went. There's a song that they sing when they take to the highway. There's a song that they sing when they take to the sea. There's a song that they sing of their home in the sky. Maybe you can believe it if it helps you to sleep. But singing works just fine for me. So good night, you moonlight ladies. Rock-a-bye, sweet baby James. So that was the lyric that really struck me as a 12-year-old kid who was starting at that point to listen to what was actually being said from the pulpit of my Catholic church and thinking, this doesn't sound right to me. So at 12 years old, I was having serious thoughts about atheism and discovering who I was. And that lyric, I can't tell you how much comfort that gave me and how much inspiration that gave me. It was the first time that an adult had even suggested the possibility that it's okay not to believe in that home in the sky that some people believe in because it helps them to sleep. Because for James Taylor, singing works just fine. If you want to find peace, if you want to sleep well, music works for him. And I was 12 years old, and I was also discovering that. I was discovering my inner musician and my inner artist. And I was starting to really believe and understand that things like art and music were the powers both within me and in the greater world that deserved my attention, my adoration, my worship, my devotion. I was a kid starting to figure this out, and those lyrics just were so incredibly powerful for me. And so for Lil Nas X to carry on here in the tradition of, was it Lady Gaga a couple of years ago, Born This Way? There's just nothing greater in the world than artists who can bring comfort and healing to struggling kids. Now, if you believe in this foolishness of heaven and hell and Satan and all of that, I can see why you might be a little upset. But that's on you, man. That's just on you. If you want to believe in those fairy tales, well, other people can't be responsible for your delusions. You're just going to have to deal with that yourself. Now, a more passive approach to all this might be, the James Taylor example I just gave you. It's not actively demeaning or attacking religion. No, not at all. It's simply offering a very kind invitation to be free. X's music video, not quite the soft, soothing folk pop of singer-songwriter James Taylor. No, a little more in your face. But again, a little soft revenge porn. Who has more right than someone who through his entire childhood had to suffer the existential threats that he did? Just because of who he is, who he was, that he's not worthy, that he's going to go into hell. Yeah, I am so with Lil Nas X on this, just 1,000%. If you want to be religious, if that's where you land, go ahead. But you don't have to. And if you're feeling very uncomfortable in your skin, and if other people have told you your whole life that this is who you are, and this is what you are, and this is what you have to be, and if you're not, you're going to hell and all that crap, I'm telling you right now, none of it's true. None of it's true. It's your choice. You don't have to be religious. Religious people aren't better. They're not more moral. In fact, independent research seems to indicate that the more religious you are, again, this is in the aggregate, you can't talk about individual people, but generally speaking, religious people are more likely to be racist. They're more likely to be bigoted. They are happier. Studies show that religious people are happier. So if that's your only goal, if you just want to be happier, I guess, yeah, it's kind of nice to believe that you've got a monopoly on the truth, that you're on the right side of God, that you're going to heaven. Yeah, I guess if you can really convince yourself that all that's true, I can see how that might make you happier. It definitely doesn't make you a better person in this world as far as giving to charity, volunteering, just being a generally good or bad person. Religion has little or nothing to do with any of that. And in some cases, we find that atheists, they score higher on those points. If you're political at all, and if you listen to this program, I'm betting maybe you are, there's no doubt, talking about the research, that religious people are generally more conservative. There's a correlation there. And of course, there's the religious left. There are liberal, lefty religious folks, sure. But generally speaking, religious people are more conservative by a good percentage. And though this is not religion related, I guess maybe it could be, the Lil Nas X so-called controversy put me in mind of the recent WAP uproar. I had friends in my own circle, people I thought were relatively progressive, liberal, just got fuddy-duddy about the WAP performance on the recent Grammys. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, their performance of WAP on the Grammys. And they were just beside themselves, getting all provincial about this and so offended. And it was such trash. And I'm going to support those two artists and that song 1,000%. Have you read the lyrics? It's completely sex positive, body positive, woman positive. It's really, in that regard, just a beautiful, powerful statement. And yeah, it's dirty as hell. Of course it is. But compare it, oh my God, compare it to any male musician songs over the years. Whether it's rap or metal or rock or whatever genre you want to find. Country, oh man, country. The inherent misogyny, the abuse, the damn near rape culture of male-dominated music that has anything to do with sex. It's all about the male singer's power over the women subjects in the song. You can go to your music library, open up any song that is talking about sex from the man's perspective in any genre, and it's going to be completely laced with sexism and misogyny and rape culture. It's all about the power. Or even at the very least, if they're trying to be kind of sexy and fun, it's still manipulative, objectifying. There's just no comparison. I've heard the song WAP. I've seen the video. I've read the lyrics. It is 100% about female sexual empowerment. It's joyous. Yes, it's filthy. Yes, of course it is. But it's so positive. Those of you who are up in arms and you want to clutch your pearls and gasp in horror, please, you got no legs to stand on here. So 3 cheers for Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, and Lil Nas X. Getting it done. Just getting it done. Advancing the culture, if you ask me. Advancing art. Advancing music. I'm all the way in your corner. No qualifications. No ifs, ands, or buts. And whether from a secular point of view, or a moral point of view, or a religious point of view, those who are critical and those who are taking what they think is the moral high ground, you just couldn't be more wrong. I can't even try. I mean, often in anything controversial, I'll make some attempt to voice the other side. I can't bring myself to do it. There's no logical argument. There's no moral argument. There's no religious argument. There's no argument to be made. You're just wrong. You're just wrong. So God bless them. And God bless art. You may have noticed, if you're a listener to the show, I love the expression God bless, even though I'm an atheist. I think you know what I mean when I say God bless, don't you? That's the most extreme version of a pat on the back. Good for you. I approve. God is the most extreme word in the English language. It means sum total of all thought and matter in the universe. So it's a good word. And that's what I mean when I say God bless. It's like 1,000% I'm with you. Good for you. So God bless Lil Nas X. God bless Cardi B. God bless Megan Thee Stallion. All right. Well, let's let that be the final word today. You know I love you. I'm Charles Purcell.